Hey guys, so I just got back from the book fair, Big Bad Wolf, and I want to share with you guys all the books that I got at Big Bad Wolf. So 5 of them are actually from the book fair and 1 of them is actually from Book Access. So I want to show you guys and read the synopsis. So yeah, let's get into it. So this first book is actually from Book Access, Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. So apparently the cover is actually the Puffin and Pantone collection for classic novels. So this cover is paired with the definitive color match for the book. So Anne of Green Gables, hence I think that's why the cover looks green. I've been dying to read this book series for so long because I fell in love with Anne immediately the first moment I started watching Anne with an E, which is the name of the Netflix series. And when I found out that this was actually based on a book, I immediately wanted to get this book, but every time I go to the bookstore, I don't see it. So I was really disappointed. But yeah, I found the first book and I'm really happy. I can't wait to read it. So for the synopsis, just in case some of you guys have never heard of this book before, join plucky red-headed Anne Shirley in the glorious green pastures of Prince Edward Island. Marilla and Matthew Cuthbert are in for a big surprise. They're waiting for an orphan boy to help with the work at Green Gables, but a skinny, red-haired girl turns up instead. She is feisty and full of spirit, and it's not long before Anne Shirley finds herself in all kinds of trouble, but soon it's impossible to imagine life at Green Gables without her. I still remember the series at the back of my head, and I really can't wait to read it. I'm really excited. So the second book I got is from the literature section, which is called The Chameleon by Samuel Fisher. I honestly was really attracted to this book because the cover looks it looks pleasing. Like, I don't know why it looks really vintage in my opinion, with the brown and the art in the middle. I don't know why, it just looks vintage to me, and I was like, ooh, what is this book? So when I picked it up and I read the synopsis, I was like really intrigued about this book, hence I got the book. So I immediately just wanted to see what this book is about because of the synopsis. Actually, it really definitely like hooked me into wanting to buy this book. So the synopsis: John is infinite. He can become any book, any combination of words, every thought, act, and expression that has ever been or ever will be written. Now 800 years old, John wants to tell his story. Looking back over his life, from its beginnings with medieval anchorites to his current lodgings beside the deathbed of a Cold War spy, John pieces together his tale. The love that held him together, and in particular, the reasons for a murder that took place in Moscow 50 years earlier, which set in train a shattering series of events. Samuel Fisher's debut, The Chameleon, is a love story about books like no other, weaving texts and lives in a family tale that leads the reader on an extraordinary historical journey, a journey of words as much as of places, and a gripping romance. I don't know why, the sentence that he said, he can become any book, any combination of words, that just made me think like, did this person literally turn into a book? That's what went through my head at the time when I was reading it. So hence I was hooked on it and I got it. So the third book is called Anything That Isn't This by Chris Priestley. I honestly thought this book was another book that I had in mind, but apparently it's not, because I thought this book was one of those TikTok books that I saw where inside the pages were like cut out, like some of the words were cut out and you had to like read according to the cutouts words. I can't really remember and I don't really know how to explain. I also googled the book and the ratings on Goodreads wasn't that bad. When I read the synopsis again, I was also hooked into the story. Apparently inside it has pictures, like portraits or like illustration. The pictures are really cool. So this is what the book is about. Because some people would rather not see a good story told. Frank Pulp knows this. He's lived in a boring city full of boring people all his life, and he hates it. Worse still, everyone else seems to enjoy this mediocrity. So when Frank finds a flash of color amongst all the stifling gray, he snatches at it with both hands. A note, wishing for some dark secret as him. A sign, surely, that someone in this place understands him. A dream to get out of here, to start living. to find out if there really is anything that isn't this. Told with wit, irony, and wonderful, twisty sophistication, this beautifully illustrated story will stay with you long after you finish reading. So if that doesn't hook you, I don't know what does, but it definitely hooked me. So the fourth and fifth book is actually a duology called The Graces by Laura Eve. So the first book is called The Graces, and I immediately fell in love with the cover. So besides the covers look really pretty, that's what got me to like purchase the book, of course. But the synopsis for the first book is really interesting, so let me read it to you guys. Everyone said the Graces were witches. Fenrin Grace is larger than life, almost mythical. He's the school Pan, seducing girls without really meaning to. He's biding his time until someone special comes along. Someone different who will make him wonder how he got along all this time without her. Someone like me. Fenrin's twin, Thala, is a willowy beauty with rippling honey-colored hair. Wherever she goes, Thalia leaves behind a band of followers who want to emulate her. She casts spells over everyone she encounters just like Fenrin, even if they both deny it. Then there's Summer. She's the youngest Grace, and the only one who admits she's really a witch. Summer is dark on the outside, with jet black hair and kohl-rimmed eyes, and on the inside. It was inevitable that she'd find me, the new girl, a loner with secrets lurking under the surface. I am River. I am not a Grace, but I'll do anything to become one. Yeah, the synopsis really got me hooked. So for the second book, it's called The Curses. I don't really want to read the synopsis because when I read it, I feel like it actually gave a significant spoiler of the story from the first book. So I didn't even read the synopsis for the second book. So I'm not gonna read it to you guys because I feel like it would be a spoiler to me, so that's why. But yeah, the story for the first book is really interesting. I really want to know what happened, hence I got the two books and I'm really excited. So for the last book that I got at Book Access is called Muse by Brittany Cavallaro. I'm gonna read you guys the synopsis. The year is 1893 and war is brewing in the first American kingdom, but Claire Emerson has bigger problem. While her father, Jeremiah, prepares to reveal the mighty weapon he's created to showcase the strength of their province, St. Cloud, at the World's Fair, Claire is crafting a plan to escape. Jeremiah is a sought-after inventor, but he believes his genius is a gift granted to him by his daughter's touch. He's kept Claire under his control for years. As St. Cloud prepares for war, Claire plans to claim her life for herself, even though her best friend, Beatrix, wants her to stay and help with the growing resistance movement that aims to see a woman on the throne, at any cost. When her father's weapon fails to fire on the fair's opening day, Claire is taken captive by Governor Remy Duchamp, St. Cloud's young, untried ruler. Remy believes that Claire's touch bestows graces he's never had, and with this governing power weakening and many political rivals planning his demise, she might be his only and best ally. But the last thing that Claire has ever wanted is to become someone else's muse. Still, affections can change as quickly as the winds of war. And Claire has a choice to make. Will she quietly remake her world from the shadows, or bring it down in flames? That is the whole synopsis. Like I said, very interesting, very intriguing, and I cannot wait to read this. Those are all the books that I got at Big Bad Wolf Day 1, because I went to Big Bad Wolf again with my mom and my brother, and I got a few more books actually, so I'm going to show you guys. So for the first book that I got at Big Bad Wolf the second day is Courting Darkness. And when I googled it, I also realized that this book is also a duology, but I could not find the second book at all, which really pisses me off. The second book is called Igniting Darkness, and yeah, I was just really disappointed that I couldn't find the second book there. Let me read the synopsis for you guys. So, death wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. Sibella is the most gifted of Death's daughters, serving deadly justice on behalf of Saint Morden. But she has a new mission now. In a desperate bid to keep her two youngest sisters safe, she agrees to accompany the Duchess of Brittany to France. Surrounded by enemies, Sibella searches for her fellow assassins from the convent of Saint Morton, who were placed undercover in the French court years ago. Genevieve has been undercover for so many years, she no longer knows what she's supposed to be fighting for. When she discovers a mysterious prisoner deep in the castle's dungeons, she decides to take matters into her own hands. As Sibella and Genevieve's paths draw ever closer, the fate of everything they hold sacred rests on a knife's edge. So yeah, that's what this book is about. I'm really interested in knowing what the hell is going on in this book and in this story. So for the next book that I got is also from the literature section. Honestly, yes, like the first day when I went to Big Bad Wolf, I didn't really give the literature section a lot of attention, I guess. Like I didn't really look through what they have at the literature section. Hence, I only got one, which was The Chameleon in the earlier clip that I showed you guys. So I gave the literature section a second look, like thoroughly look at the section and see what they have. And this one book really caught my eye because I really like the book cover. So this book is called Wedding Season by Madeline Smith. And if you guys can see the cover, to me, it looks really pretty. Just look at it. It's a hand with a flower and leaves in it and a small yellow bird. It's just really cute. And I just love this cover for some reason. Of course, when I read the synopsis, I was like really hooked on the book. And I was like, okay, this book seems interesting enough for me to get. So let me read the synopsis to you guys. In these lucid, sharply observed stories, Madeline Smith traces the lives of people in moments of crisis. Smith's characters fight for happiness and survivals in office buildings, barnyards, and dilapidated houses, and the choices they make reveal the power of instinct to save or destroy. Whether she's writing about wives struggling with love, teenage girls resisting authority, or men and women reeling from loss, Smith illuminates her characters with pointed, gorgeous language and searing insight. Wedding Season is an unforgettable, unmissable collection from a powerful, nuanced, and profound author. Yeah, that's the synopsis at the back. I don't know why, I feel like the story might be really deep and relatable in some ways. Yeah, I'm really excited that I got this and I really can't wait to read it. So let's move on to the next book. So this next book is actually, I got this because I've heard of this author. Like this author is actually familiar, as well as the title of the book. So this is The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. Ernest Hemingway sounds familiar. I've heard of him before. And The Old Man and the Sea also is a book that I've heard before. It's just that I don't think I've ever seen this book in any bookstores. Or I might have missed it. And the synopsis: you loved him when he was alive and you loved him after. If you love him, it is not a sin to kill him, or is it more? The most popular work of fiction by a writer regarded as one of history's best, The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway is a simple story of Santiago, a fisherman in Havana. Aged and a shadow of his former strong self, he finds himself helpless and in the care of young Monolin. But after 84 days of catching no fish, Santiago's luck turns when the old man manages to hook a great fish. The marlin, a surreal push and pull ensues. Written in a dreamy, stream of consciousness style, the book contains within in both adventure and a kind of wisdom that only comes after having lived a full life. So that is the synopsis at the back of the book. So this last book, it's called The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. And I'm really excited to read this because the last book that I read from Mitch Albom is called The Timekeeper. And I really, really love that book. I love the story. I love the lessons that it teaches the readers, especially for me. I just love his writing. And the way he tells his stories is like really well written. So when I saw this, The 5 People You Meet in Heaven, I was like really excited because during the first day, I actually saw The Next Person You Meet in Heaven. And when I Googled about that book, apparently it was a sequel to this book. So when I came back the second day, I saw this and I immediately got it. And I couldn't find The Next Person You Meet in Heaven though, so like that was a bummer. So yeah, I'll read the synopsis to you guys for those who haven't heard of this book before. All endings are also beginnings. You just don't know it at the time. Eddie is a grizzled war veteran who feels trapped in a meaningless life of fixing rides at a seaside amusement park. As the park has changed over the years, from loop-the-loop to the pipeline plunge, so too has Eddie changed, from optimistic youth to embittered old age. His days are a dull routine of work, loneliness, and regret. Then, on his 83rd birthday, Eddie dies in a tragic accident, trying to save a little girl from a falling cart. With his final breath, he feels two small hands in his, and then nothing. He awakens in the afterlife, where he learns that heaven is not a lush garden of Eden, but a place where your earthly life is explained to you by 5 people who were in it. These people may have been loved ones or distant strangers, yet each of them changed your path forever. One by one, Eddie's 5 people illuminate the unseen connections of his earthly life. As the story builds to its stunning conclusions, Eddie desperately seeks redemption in the still unknown last act of his life. Was it a heroic success or a devastating failure? The answer, which comes from the most unlikely of sources, is as inspirational as a glimpse of heaven itself. So yeah, that's the last book that I got from Big Bad Wolf on the second day. So these are all the books that I got from Big Bad Wolf and one from Book Access, and honestly, I'm happy with them. I honestly cannot wait to read all of these books soon. If you guys know any of this book and have read them before, do let me know in the comment section what you guys think and like what will I expect in the book. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below anything you guys want to comment. Give this video a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed it. Follow all my socials if you guys haven't. Subscribe if you guys haven't. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!